Hey guys, it's Eddie the Magic Monk. Today we're actually going to start with the maths of buying and selling shares. How awesome is that? So basically what we want to look at is how much money it costs you to buy shares and how much money it costs you to sell shares and whether you make a profit. So let's say Eddie buys some Telstra shares in, let's say, July 2014 for $4 each share. Right, I bought $4 per share, and Eddie bought, let's say, 2,000 shares. Okay, 2,000 shares at $4 each. So the total cost of buying the shares, total cost of shares would be $2,000. 2,000 shares times $4 each. So that would be $8,000 is the cost of shares. Sorry, I shouldn't use the word total yet because I haven't taken into account brokerage. What is brokerage? Brokerage is the fee paid to the broker. So when you buy shares or sell shares, you can't sell it or buy it yourself. You have to go through a broker, so you have to pay them a fee, right? So there's a particular way on how to calculate the brokerage, so I'll write that out here. So basically the brokerage that will cost you depends on how much of the shares you buy. So usually you'll get given a table. In the first column, we'll have cost of shares. So this table should be given to you on the test because everywhere it's different. And then the brokerage that they will charge you. So if the cost of the shares is between 0 to 5,000, the brokerage might be 2% of costs, right? And then if it's between 5,001 to 10,000, it might be, for example, a base fee, let's say $100 plus 2% of amount over 5,000. And then if it's between 10,001 to 15,000, there might be some other way of getting the brokerage. So if you have a look at our cost, it's 8,000, so it belongs to this category, which means this is how much brokerage we pay. So the brokerage is going to be equal to $100 plus, so I'm reading this right now, plus 2%, so that's 2 out of 100 times $8,000. Now, is it 2% of 8,000? No, because it says 2% of amount over 5,000. So how much is 8,000 over 5,000? So you're going to go 8,000 minus 5,000. And that will calculate for you how much is the amount of your costs over $5,000. Right? It's only the extra bit that you have to pay the 2% for. So it's 100 plus 2 divided by 100 is 0.02 times 8,000 minus 5,000 is 3,000. And then if you type that into your calculator, you will get 100 plus 0.02 times 3,000 is $160 of brokerage. So the total cost of buying shares, total costs of buying shares would be $160 plus $8,000. So it's $8,160. That is the total cost of buying the shares. Alright. Now let's say that a couple of months later Eddie decides to sell the shares. Okay, so in October 2000 what did I say? 14. It's not important. Eddie decides to sell all of his shares at a price of how much did I pay? $4. So let's say I sell it for $4.20. $4.20. Okay, so value of shares will be equal to $4.20 per share times how many shares did I have? 2,000 shares. So put that in your calculator and you will get $8,400. That's the value of shares. Now guess what? When you buy shares, you have to pay brokerage again. Brokerage equals. Alright, that's not fun. So how much brokerage? Again, $8,400 belongs to this category. So it's $100 plus 2% of amount over 5,000. So $100 plus 2% of amount over 5,000. So it's $100 plus 0.02 times 3,400. Put that in your calculator and you get $168. So the amount of money received, right? Money received from the sale is value of shares. Value of shares. Take away the brokerage. Okay, because you were originally gonna make 8,400, but you have to pay the 168, so you receive a little bit less. So how much do you receive? You receive 8,400 minus 168. Let me just type that into calculator. 8,232. 8,232. So that's how much money you received. How much money did you pay? You paid 8,160. Ooh, you just made a little bit of profit. So profit made by Eddie for buying and selling the shares. So the total cost is 8,160. So 8,232 minus 8,160 is $72. $72. Not very much, but at least you made a little bit of money for going through all of that trouble. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.